What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother LB for talking about this in the live stream as I'm recording this. Shout out to him. Please subscribe to the sports and political channel of LB. Now, Jason McIntyre. I always forget his name. I sometimes refer to him as the field mouse. I think he looks like a field mouse. I don't really know his name. I never cared to. All I know is that I've always wondered whether either he or Ryan Hollins had the worst takes ever. You know, shock jocks. He's an extreme LeBron James fanboy, and he got into a spirited debate with the last 2 weeks they've been the replacements for Skip and Shannon. Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp have not been on Undisputed for whatever reason. The rumor I heard is that Shannon Sharp had hip surgery and is recovering. But anyway, Jason McIntyre, I think the other guy's name is Rick Bucher, and it might be Greg Jennings. That might be his name. They've been the replacements. There's been three of them. And they got into a debate about why players don't want to play with LeBron James. Or at least that's what Rick Bucher brought up. And he said that for a long time, people thought it was because, he played in Cleveland and maybe players don't want to play in Cleveland or whatever. But it's been apparent that a lot of players don't want to play with LeBron James because of how the media um, covers LeBron James led teams. And that is that whenever a team that LeBron is on is winning, everything's all good. Although you won't get your fair share of credit, it'll go to LeBron James, everything is all good. But when they're losing, the credit the blame, I guess, in that situation will always go to everybody else. LeBron James is devoid of any blame by the mainstream media. And, you know, he also poked holes in Jason McIntyre's argument that, and it's simple to his mind, LeBron James is a top 5 MVP candidate. Top 5 MVP candidate with a team record of 27-35. You know, that's the type of shit that we have to deal with on social media. Okay. Um, it's so interesting because these guys, they can't take people who are not all LeBron James fans. I'm not talking about all of them, but there's a lot of them that are incapable of accepting dissenting opinions. They can't do it, and they take it personal that you don't agree with their assertion that he's the best player, um, that he's an MVP candidate, and the narrative that, if the team isn't doing well, it's everybody else's fault except for LeBron. He doesn't have enough help magically, even though guys like Kendrick Perkins said earlier this year that with this roster, they should win 70 games. You understand what I'm saying? That's the game that they play. When things don't go right, they diminish everyone else's contributions and make it seem like he has no help. Even though Russell Westbrook is averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Even though Anthony Davis, when he does play, was averaging 23 points and 10 rebounds per game. But he has no help, though. And what was so interesting about what I think the guy named Rick Bucher said is that he said, yes, LeBron is putting up 29 points a game, but his defense has been uh, very suspect for the most part this year, and that his efficiency, the 52% efficiency, looks great, but then you have to compare it to some other players. Compare it to Giannis, who gets constantly double teamed and sometimes triple teamed. Giannis is shooting more like 55%. Joel Embiid, excuse me. Nikola Jokic is shooting more around 57%. Oftentimes, LeBron James, even though he does get doubled at times, LeBron probably sees less double team coverage than he has in his entire career. And so you look at the 52% percentage, it looks good, but his points are not really as impactful as we said before as people think they are. Matter of fact, when you look at the top scorers in the NBA, his plus minus is dead last. Dead last. But anyway, I just find it interesting because this is a lot of the stuff that we talk about here in the LDBC. You know, I have my own theory as to why some of them, not all of them, but I have my own theory as to why some of them are so emotional and react the way they do. I talked about it in a Patreon video recently. But anyway, I'm not going to mention it here on YouTube. But that's all I got to say about that. Tell me what you guys think.